Hey guys, how's it going? Good morning. It's Tuesday, November 9th. I'm gonna set up the room real quick and then we can get started. So it's 6:25 right now. We got about 5 minutes till the market opens. So I'm gonna go speed through this real quick, set everything up, and then should be good. It's good right there. All right, November 9th. That's cool. All right, solid. Let me get the Zoom link out for you guys here in the premium real quick. All right, cool. So go with this. All right, looks solid. All right, a few more things right now. So good morning, guys. I'm gonna let people into the room right now at 6:27. Market is opening in about 3 minutes. I'm gonna start analyzing everything shortly. So anyways, let's take a look at the retail sentiment real quick. Retail sentiment is currently sitting at 71% short. So there's still a majority of traders short right now. Not very much. It's starting to dwindle a little bit, but it's still at 71%. Looking over at the futures data currently, price is 47 points in the red, which it's not very bearish, but it is red. So looking at the news as well today, we do have news again today. So at 6 o'clock, we had Powell speak. I think he's still speaking right now, actually. He usually speaks for like about an hour. We have Fedmer Daily speaking again, and we have the 10-year bond auction at 10 o'clock. So we have quite a bit of news right now. This is kind of why I didn't really get on the session too early, because I didn't want to get caught trading while Powell was speaking. So I think Powell's still speaking right now. I don't necessarily want to trade while he's speaking. So just looking over at all of the indices, the Dow's down, S&P's up, NASDAQ's up, and oil's up right now. However, the 10-year bond is currently down as well. So we'll see what happens in the next few minutes, guys. And then we can determine, where we want to trade. Anyways, looking at US 30, the 1 minute over here is bullish, and the reason for that is because price is above the pivots and the trend meter is green. Looking over at the 3 minute, same situation, price is above the pivots and the trend meter is green. Going over to the 10 minute, same situation, price is above the pivots and the trend meter is green. So looking at all of these time frames right here, the technicals are currently looking bullish. However, we'll see what happens when the market opens in the next minute or so. All right, let's see what's good over here. Morning, Miles. Morning, Al. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Mauricio. Morning, Lisa. Morning, Peter. Morning, Fahad. Morning, Jennifer. Morning, everybody. So hopefully you guys had a great week so far. It's Tuesday, barely second day of the week, but looks like everyone's profits have been pretty solid. I did take quite a bit of trades yesterday, so I'm currently in profit, pretty nice for the day so far. I usually do that when there's a lot of news the following day, just to make sure that I get my trades in before we run into like some crazy volatility. Like today, Powell's speaking, obviously. So what happened when Powell speaks? Price goes up, right? So no surprise here why price is it's pretty much skyrocketing. However, you guys want to be careful, because when price is so one-sided, that's when a lot of manipulation happens. Because obviously, if everyone thinks price is going to go one way, it's probably not going to go that way for a while. Anyways, market is opening right about now. So market is now open. Let's see what happens right here as we push to the upside. If we push higher to the upside, then obviously we'll have a entry for a buy using the okay, we got a long way to go until the all-time high. So we're not too close to the all-time high. I just want to make sure before we looked into that. However, if this candle right here closes as a strong green candle, meaning a green candle with little to no wick on the top side, then this would be the breakout. However, I don't think I'm going to be taking it just yet. because it's just too big of a candle. Usually if it's too big of a candle, it would have to retrace a little bit before I continue pushing up. Also looking at the fundamentals over here, it's 22 points in the red, so it's not even bullish. As you guys can see, huge wick right here, right? So I'm not going to be taking this trade just yet. I want to confirm the fundamentals before I take the trade. And it's not even a bullish candle. You can see right here, huge wick, and now it's coming right back down. Hey, morning, Patrick. Morning, Dave. Morning, Professor. Morning, everybody. So I'm going to close the chat right now. I'm going to focus on the charts. And let's see what we can pull up from the market today. All right, so obviously no breakout right there because, well, technically, well, yeah, there's still be no breakout because this we need to close below the pivots. So currently right here, there's no breakout for a buy. Reason for that's because there's a sell signal here. Also, there's no entry for a sell here because price needs to close below these pivots in order to confirm the shift in trend. So there's currently no breakout right now. If we want to take the breakout for a buy, we need a buy signal to close here with a strong green candle, meaning a big green candle with little to no wick. Well, not really a big candle, but a strong green candle. So basically a full green candle with little to no wick on the top side with a buy signal. If we get that, we can take it for a buy. Vice versa. If price closes below these pivots with a strong red candle, meaning something similar to this, a red candle with little to no wick on the bottom side, then it would be a sell. But I mean, it doesn't look like we're really getting anything right now. Price is kind of just going back and forth. I'll mark up 635 right here because this is the last minute that we can take the breakout. And then we'll be looking for, after that, we'll only be looking for other scalps. So let me turn on my alerts over here as well so that we can follow that. All right, all my alerts are on. No breakout in sight. Looking over here at the fundamentals, it's only 41 points in the red. So there's really no bias today. Obviously, you guys can see we were expecting some sort of bias, but there just is no bias. And due to that, there's not really going to be much of a movement either direction until it confirms. So let's see. I'm waiting for this candle to close, and I'll go over my analysis a little further. So yeah, no entry here off the breakout. This news right here just says Dow hovers near record, GE surges on breakup plan. Nothing really too important, so I'll just close this for now. But yeah, looking over here, currently there's no bias. As you guys can see, it's only 36 points in the red. It's not really that far. We want it to be 100 points in the red or 100 points in the green to confirm the bias for the fundamentals. Also looking at the retail sentiment, there's no bias right here. I mean, it's 71% short, meaning there's like majority of people short right now in the market, but it's not enough to really have a bias because it can easily go into the 60s if more people close out of the shorts or more people switch from shorts to buys. Other than that, I don't see any entry here for the breakout. In order for us to have an entry for a sell, we would need a strong red candle to close below the pivots over here, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen within the next couple of minutes, right? Because we only can take this trade up until 6:35. It's 6:33 right now. We have 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes now, 1 minute, which is probably not going to, it's probably not going to appear. Or actually, sorry guys, I realized that this isn't even a sell signal. We need a sell signal to close in order to take that there. However, this would technically be the breakout. I just noticed that because I think earlier this looked like a sell signal, but if I take this off, it's easier to see. So there's actually no sell signal right there. This would technically be the breakout. But, like I mentioned earlier, I wouldn't have taken it because the fundamentals aren't one-sided. They're kind of just right down the middle, which I mean is unfortunate. You'd expect it to be one-sided, especially on open. But yeah, I mean there just isn't much for us to look at here. See what they got here on CNBC. 5 things to know before the stock market opens on Tuesday. Wall Street looks steady ahead of key inflation data after new highs. GE breakup into 3 companies: aviation, healthcare, and energy. Bitcoin all-time high. Roblox surges as a result. PayPal sinks on revenue miss. AMC posts smaller than expected loss, but CEO says challenges remain. Other than that, that's about it. Nothing really specific here that caters to US 30 in specific. We'll just refresh this real quick. Currently, it's bearish, but I mean obviously you can see half is red, half is green. There's not very anything that's one-sided. So I'll just turn this off because we're not taking this breakout. And we'll start looking for the scalps. So let me just go ahead and put all of the strategies over here real quick. 1 minute pivot scalp, 1 minute high-low scalp. I'll mark up 630 right here. Three-minute daily. 3-minute pivot. Let's leave the snipe entry over here. See if there's any zones around that area. Couple right here. Basically like one big one there, and then one right there. You can see right here on the 10-minute price is just ranging right sideways. It's pretty clear. Going over to the 10-minute. So I don't know if anyone took the breakout or the daily entry yesterday. So the daily entry yesterday, I don't know if it hit CP already, but it did come up. Reason why we didn't take that sell is because we were looking for a buy yesterday. However, if you took the daily yesterday, this looks like it would have hit CP already. Yeah. Yep. So full TP off the daily, whoever caught it yesterday. Looking at the daily today, we're also looking for another sell. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, you know, obviously I'm going to be looking for any sort of bias in the market, but the daily entry right here hit full TP if you took the sell. Basically, you're just looking for the first valid K2 momentum signal after market open. Market opened right here at 630. First momentum signal is here for a sell, so you would have taken a sell for 1,500 pips and would have hit full TP. But this is a daily entry because it takes so long. So you would have held this trade for about 12 hours, but full TP for 1,500 pips. There's still one currently, looks like probably pending right here off today for another sell, but we'll see what happens then. Back to the 1 minute over here. Not really much for us to look at this point. We'll be marking up the highs and lows for any high-low scalps. So one up here and one down here. So as you can see, price is kind of in a bit of a wide range right now. Still bouncing around this area. However, it breaks below, it'll create a newer low and it'll continue to drop lower. And if that becomes the case, then it'll just keep dropping lower and lower from there. I'm gonna refresh this real quick. So as you guys can see, the numbers starting to increase for the red, right? It's now negative 75 points in the red. Once this goes below 100, if it stays below 100, then we'll be looking for sells. That's going to be our bias for today. So pretty much just waiting for that confirmation until we take a trade. You know, we want to be 100% sure of the direction. You don't want to just enter a trade and then not know for sure the price is going that direction. And then you end up getting stopped out because it turns the other way within like a few minutes after entering a trade, or even like immediately. So you guys have seen that before. I'm sure you guys have seen where you guys enter a trade and then right after you enter it, it completely reverses on you, right? Because you didn't confirm what the direction was. So the direction right now is currently still, I mean, it's bearish, but it's not very bearish because you can see the number is still not below 100. It just keeps going back and forth. When this number goes back up, then you see price kind of push up right there. Price goes back down, number gets heavy, right? 68 right now, refresh that to 83. So you guys see the big difference? It went from 68 to 83. Look at price, what's price doing? It's dropping, right? So if price is dropping, if the fundamentals are red, what do you think the price is going to do? It's going to follow it, right? Because earlier it was 68, now it's 83. What happened to price? It dropped. That's why it's important that you guys look at the fundamentals first before you guys look at the technicals, because the technicals will trick you. This is all, that's what it's meant to do. It's here to trick you, right? It makes it look like price is going one way, but in reality, we don't get tricked because we're looking at the fundamentals. We're looking at what price follows. So if price isn't being manipulated and it's moving the way it's supposed to, then it's supposed to go in the direction that fundamentals are moving. So that's why fundamentals are first for me, retail sentiment second, and then technicals are last. If you just go off technicals, you're probably going to get faked out. You're going to get caught in some like, you know, reversals, whipsaws, stuff like that. because you're not looking at the proper thing. Not to say that fundamentals are like everything, but from my experience, I've been trading for a while now. Fundamentals are a big key when identifying the direction. So that's what we're doing. We're just waiting. Currently right now. So as you guys can see, it went from 85 to 68. Look at price. What happened to price? It's a green candle, right? So if you just look at fundamentals, you can already tell where price is going to be going. Price is currently at 68 points, right? If this goes below, if I keep refreshing this and it goes below 78, right? Let's go to price. Price is now coming back down. You see this big wick? It's not up here anymore. So as price goes up, you pretty much tie one and one together. You can tell where the fundamentals are going to be. So these usually mirror each other. Fundamentals are usually leading, technicals are lagging. That's why a lot of people don't like to use indicators. A lot of people hate on indicators because indicators are laggy, because the technicals in general are laggy. Once the fundamentals move, the technicals follow. So that's pretty much what we're looking for, guys. I mean, if price stays over here and continues to go sideways, then probably not going to see much movement. But if it continues to drop, say price drops below this point right here, I think this is the key point. If price drops below this previous New York high, then I can see the fundamentals being under 100 points. That's going to be key right there. And that's pretty much what I'm waiting for. So a new low is established, moves lower. And then if I pull up the fundamentals, it's probably going to be around 60, 70%. So right here it's 78. Let's refresh that. 78%, right? It's still around 60, 70. Until it drops lower, then it'll increase. But right now, looks like it's going to keep going back and forth. So as you can see, price is going up. You refresh the fundamentals. Currently still at that point, 79%. It only went down by like 1 point. So this is key. So as you can see, price continues to push up, and if that number stays at 79, this is just a temporary push up, right? So as you can see, price continues to push up right here. Let me go and refresh this again. See, it's at 74, so the number decreases. As you guys can see, if you guys want to practice, you guys can do this on your own time as well. I have two screens here. So what you can do is you can have one screen with CNBC, and then you have another screen with your charts open. So it's easy for you guys to see back and forth without having to have your screen switch. So, all right, guys, it's just, we're pretty much just waiting at this point. You can see price is just going sideways. It's not really doing anything. No entry off the 1 minute. There's technically an entry here off the 3 minute, but like I mentioned, I'm waiting for the fundamentals here to confirm. They're not below 100 yet, so there's no bias. The bias is still red, but it's not as strong as I want it to be. So if you guys want to take this trade here, there's technically a trade here off the 3 minute. I'll mark it up right here, but I'm going to remind you guys that I'm not taking the trade. So if you guys want to take it at your own risk. The reason why I think this is risky is because price is so close to this New York low right here. So when price reaches this New York low, price can do one of two things, right? When price reaches this point, price can do one of two things. Price will either break through it and go straight to TP, or it'll bounce right off it. So you guys want to be careful with regard to things like this in the market. Because if you guys remembered yesterday, I mentioned my confluences, right? My confluence for retail sentiment is a short. I'm looking for a sell. My confluence for fundamentals are currently a short as well. So I have two confluences right there. It's close to 100. Looking over at the news, I'll refresh this. I think Powell is probably done speaking by now. So I think we're good right now with the market. So we got two confluences right now for a sell. However, looking at the New York low from yesterday, it's currently right here. So this decreases our confluence by 1. We have an entry right here for a sell. So our confluence, it adds by 1. So we currently have two confluences, with regard to our full analysis here. So as you can see, price is currently at that New York low. I don't really want to trade around that area because, and you can see price broke below, and if it hits, it hits, but I'm not in the position. I'll set an alert for you guys here for whoever's in it. Actually, it was there you go, full TP. So it was actually a pretty good trade because now that we've broken down the confluences, I didn't realize that there wasn't news right now. So full TP off that. If you guys caught that trade, big congrats to you. I will mark this up and send it over in the group for whoever caught it. So if you guys caught it, nice work. This is actually a pretty decent trade. The only thing that was risky was the fact that it was at the New York low. But after adding up your confluences, you can kind of tell because we had two confluences. Basically you want about 2 to 4 confluences before you take the trade, with regard to the subtractions and the additions to it. So 2 confluences available right there, hit pretty nice. Let me see if anyone here actually caught it. Nice. So yeah, it looks like Charlie caught it too. So I'll give you guys a little update in the group here for whoever took it, just so that you guys can know to pull out of the trade. Because you guys got to pull out of these trades, guys, especially today. Like, just like Paul said, it's Trap Tuesday. Nice. Rick made 1,285 off that. Great work, Rick. You guys a little update for that right here. All right. I kind of I feel like I probably should have taken that trade, but it's okay. The analysis was on point. So now that I'm confirming that there's no news, it'll be easier for us to confirm what, man, where's this thing at? I'm trying to get the strategy. All right, whatever. I'll just put that there. Okay, I'll just put that there. And then if you guys have profits to send over, go ahead and send them over and we can look over them. And I'll add them to the list as well. So looking at the people here who took it, there's a couple people. Looks like Albert here took it, locked in a total of 850 for the day. Nice work, Albert. His other account took it as well, locked in a total of 1,350 for the day. So great work, Albert, right there. Looking over here, Charlie took it as well. Looks like he locked in a total of 267. Great work, Charlie. Going down, Lisa took it as well. You can see the sells here, locked in a total of 654. Great work, Lisa. Cheryl over here, currently up 3,136 for the week. Nice work, Lisa. I mean, not Lisa, Cheryl, sorry. And I think that's it for right now. If you guys have more profits to send over, go ahead and send them over. Otherwise, we will keep looking for trades here. So it looks like the bias is starting to look good for a sell now, which is perfect because now we can start looking for trades, like actually actively looking for trades. Let me go over to the fundamentals real quick. Refresh that. There you go. It's now under 100 points. Now the bias is confirmed. Actually, sorry, the IG sentiment here is actually a sell. So this would just, it's still kind of risky to take sells right now because looking at this right now, these cancel each other out because retail is short and the fundamentals are short. So that cancels each other out. There's like basically no confluence right now with regard to taking sells. The only confluence we have are the technicals. And the reason for that is because price is below the pivots, trend meter is red. So it's bearish right here, right? Bearish on the 1 minute, bearish on the 3 minute, and bearish on the 10 minute. So we have one confluence, which is just the technicals. Our confluence here for the fundamentals are also bearish, but they're canceled out by the retail sentiment here because they're both short. So generally you want to trade opposite. If retail traders are short, you want to trade for buys. Vice versa, if retail sentiment is long, then if fundamentals are short, you want to trade short. But right now they're both short. So these cancel each other out. This technically would have been, if this was long here, like 71% long, this would be one confluence, this would be 2 confluence, and this would be 3 confluence. However, right now, this right here is short and this is short as well. So these kind of cancel each other out. So there's no confluence right there with regard to the fundamentals. The only confluence that we have is going to be the technicals here. So it makes it a bit risky if you guys want to take sells here. I'm still not really going to be looking for sells as much until like we have, a better confirmation, but I'll be looking. I mean, if I see something that's really good, then I'll take it. Yeah, of course. But currently right now, I still find it to be a bit risky. So if you guys want to keep taking these trades, I mean, feel free. Also, this is a daily entry as well. Just a reminder, this is not an official strategy. So we're just forward testing a strategy. If you guys are new here, this is a strategy that one of our members, Deswell, created. He basically is applying the 10-minute strategy over here onto the 3-minute. So we're just testing it to see, you know, how well it works. And if it does work well, then we'll implement it into an official strategy. But currently right now, you know, it's kind of hit or miss. It does work, but it is a bit of a hit or miss because it's on a shorter time frame. It's harder to catch the moves perfectly. So I'll just put this alert here, 3-minute daily, so that we can come back and look at it if it if it does hit. The only thing that I would be worried about here is because the London low and Asia low are right here. So it might bounce before it even reaches CP down there, but we'll keep following it and we'll see what happens. If it does, you know, happen to go in that direction. However, I just don't feel comfortable taking risky trades right now. If you guys look at my trades from last night, so I took trades last night because I knew this today was going to be a bit risky. So I took a couple scalps last night. I'm already in profit at 1,500 on my main account. You can see it has the green symbols right here because it hit my TP. This is my main account. I made 1,584, and then my copier over here, I made 1,484. Obviously, you can see there's a price difference because there was some slippage yesterday. However, in total, I'm in profit about 3,000 for the day. So that's why I'm not really, you know, I don't have the necessity to take any risky trades because I'm already in profit for the day, and it's like not small profit, it's good profit. So if I see something good, obviously I'll take the trade. However, if I don't, then I'm going to hold off. And that's something that you guys can do as well, right? One thing that you can do is you can look at the news for the next day. Like last night, I looked at the news and I was like, Powell's speaking again today in the morning at 6. That's when we trade. So if Powell's speaking, then my opportunity to take trades around that time are going to be less likely. So what I did was I traded during Asia session to pretty much make profits to cover for today in case I only take one small trade or I don't take any trades at all, right? And you know, that's just planning ahead. So I don't usually analyze the market ahead too much. The only thing I do is I look at the forecast and I see if there's anything coming up. If there's something coming up, obviously I'm gonna, you know, think ahead so that I can have consistent profits every single day. But that's just one thing that you guys can do as well. So other than that, we'll see what happens here. So let me just go back to the fundamentals real quick, refresh this. And as you guys can see, the bias isn't very strong, right? Like a few minutes ago, it was negative 107. Now it's only 87 in the red. So just goes to show that the fundamentals are indicating that the sell isn't that strong right now. If it goes below 100 and it stays there, then it's going to be a strong sell. However, if it doesn't, then it's just not, right? And you can see price starting to shift to the upside. This is kind of what I'm waiting for right here. I'm waiting for it to shift back to the upside because if that becomes the case, I can start taking some buys because I don't really want to be trading against the sentiment anyways. So as you can see, the sentiment is starting to get smaller and smaller. It was 72%, 71, now it's 70. So this just indicates that a lot of retail traders are shifting from their sells to buys, or they're just pulling out of the market in general. So, or they're getting stopped out. So I think what happened here was when price dropped below here, generally what people do is they move their stop loss and profit, right? When they move their stop loss and profit, what happens when price swings up? It stops them out, right? Pulls them out of the position. And that's why the number here decreased a little bit. And then now price is starting to drop again. So this technically would be an entry using the 1 minute pivot scalp. However, this is such a big candle that it's probably going to have to retrace a little bit. It's about 220 pips. So if you guys want to take this entry here, I would be a little careful because you might have to pull back a little bit. So what I might do is I might wait and take a later entry after it. And this we need to close with the signal as well. If it doesn't close with the signal, then there's not going to be any entry there. Yeah, it's kind of a big candle, so I'd probably hold off on it a little bit. The problem here too is that it's getting close to this low. So usually what happens if it's a big candle like this, it might just bounce right off this right here. So technically this would be a 1 minute entry, but I'm still not convinced to take this trade yet. So I'm going to hold off on it. And you can see right there, it's starting to pull back because it's such a big candle. When it's such a big candle like this, it pulls back a bit before it comes right back down. So And the problem is it's right at this low, so it's going to be a little bit risky to take it because I don't want to take a trade and then it ends up, you know, bouncing from there. So what I might do is I might just wait, see if it pulls back a little bit, bounces off this, and then comes back down. Or it might be too late. At that point, it's probably gonna hit TP. Yeah, it's too late. So these are risky trades here. I mean, they're working. Obviously, you can see right there. I don't know if anyone caught that trade. If you guys did, it would be pretty solid. It just went right past the TP. So as you guys can see, these trades are risky, but they're still hitting. So if you want to be a risky trader, you guys can take these trades here, but you guys know how I trade. I don't take trades that I'm not like 100% certain about. There's just too many red flags here. It was at the low. Also, the bias wasn't that strong yet. And other than that, yeah, nothing's dumping pretty heavy now. Now it's getting close to the London low here and Asia low. So if price continues to dump like this, then the fundamentals should be picking up. Let me go to the fundamentals real quick. It should be negative 100 now. So you can see right here, it's negative 87. Let me refresh that. It's now negative 128. So as you guys can see, price follows the fundamentals. When the fundamentals drop, what happens to price? It drops as well. So if price stays below this area, I think this is going to be the key area right here, this line. If price stays below here, then it's going to stick below 100. You can see where price rejected from right here. The London low, right? Price came down, rejected off the London low, and it swung back up. So looking at this right here, not sure if anyone caught it. Let me see if anyone caught it over here. Looks like, yeah, a couple people here caught it. Patricia caught it right here. Or I don't know if Patricia caught it or Paul. I don't know. It looks like some of you guys might have caught it here. I'll come back and take a look at it. But what I'll do here is I'll just mark it up for whoever caught it. These are like really quick moves. So you got to be really quick to catch these. The low is now below here. And as you can see, as price moves to swing back up, we'll look at fundamentals over here. And it's probably swinging right back up as well. You can see right there, it went from negative 128 to now negative 112. So I think key price point would be below this New York low. If price stays below this New York low, then we can start looking for sells here without having to be worried about it swinging back up. Nice. So yeah, G-Man over here actually caught the trade there. He caught it for 1K. Nice work. So he cut the full TP off that. What I'll do here is I'll just take a screenshot just to show you guys. I mean, whoever took the trade here, obviously I didn't take the trade, but you know, if you guys caught the trade, give you guys an update so that you guys can make sure to close your position. So here we go with that right there. This is going to be a 1 minute pivot scalp. Whoever caught it, and you can see price is starting to dump right there. Yeah, price is dumping pretty heavy now. You can see the market. It's too tight. You can easily get your stop loss triggered before it hits your TP. So you guys want to be very careful here. All right, well, price broke below here. It looks like we have a definite sell bias now, which is perfectly fine. That's exactly what we were waiting for. We wanted a bias to be set up. So currently right now, refreshing this, it's currently 148 points in the red, 166 points in the red, right? So looking at that, our bias has been established. We have a sell bias now. So looking at this here, it looks like we'll probably be looking for a sell. What we can look for is for price to retrace back up and then come back down. Then we can take that for a 1 minute pivot scalp using this strategy right here. The other strategy as well, the high-low scalp, we would need price to close below this line over here, which would be the low. And it's fine. We'll at least now we have a bias. So we're looking for sells at this point, guys. No longer looking for buys because the fundamentals are pretty clear that it's going to be a sell. It's going to stay below the 100 now. Unless price swings like really high. If price swings really high, then the bias will shift back to neutral or a buy. But currently right now, it looks like it's going to keep pushing to the downside. If price swings above this green line right here, then the bias is probably going to change back to a buy. But if it stays below here, then we're looking for a sell. Anyways, looking at the 3 minute, for whoever took the daily entry here after 3 minute, it just hit full TP. So you guys can see the markup here that we did earlier. I said it was a risky trade, but if you guys wanted to take it, it was available and it hit full TP. So for all the risk takers here, I mean, great work. You guys are like killing it. You guys are pretty much eating it up right now with these wins. So I'll give another update in the group for you guys who caught that. I think we probably have a pending buy for the 10-minute as well. So give you guys this little update for whoever caught it. 3-minute daily. And this market is crazy right now. It's so volatile. You can see price just swung right back up. This is why I'm being careful today, guys, because the thing is, if you catch these trades or if you get in too late, you get greedy, you can easily get caught in the pullback. So if you guys are taking trades, you guys got to remember to pull out of your position. You guys can't get greedy today. You can see right here, price came down and then it shot all the way back up. So it came down, then it shot up almost 600 pips. So if your stop loss is 500 pips, you're going to get stopped out. Or if your stop loss is 300 pips, you're going to get stopped out really quick. But yeah, there's a daily entry right there. Yeah, this market is it's too volatile for me to really want to take any scalps, because you can see right here, I was mentioning if price comes above this green line, then bias is going to change back to neutral or bullish. However, price came up, then it came right back down. Just moving around like way too fast. If you guys do continue to trade during the session, I recommend using a smaller lot size so that you can have a wider stop loss. Because the thing is, you're probably going to need a wider stop loss, because here, let me just draw a range right here. So if you only have a 300 pip stop loss, this is how far your stop loss is. So say, for example, you enter a sell here and it pulls back, right? You're going to get stopped out. Again, right here, say if you want to enter a sell at this point, say again right here. If you enter a sell below here, if price closes below here, because that's what we're looking for, right? If price closes below like it does right there, and then you enter right here and it pulls back and it hits right here, you're going to get stopped out. So I'm giving you guys perspective here why it's dangerous to trade around this area, because it's too volatile. Also, the fact that it's probably going to pull back because it's been dropping for quite a bit right now. So at some point it's going to have to pull back, right? You can't drop forever. And as you can see, this big wick right here. If you chase the sell right here and you entered it and you got caught in this pullback, look what happens. You would have gotten stopped out. So you guys got to be very careful, trade smart. Don't trade off emotion. You know, you guys got to trade the strategy. You guys got to understand all the moving pieces in the market right now. So, yeah, the market is just too crazy. Yeah, Patricia said this is a quick in and out scalp market right now. It's too crazy right now. I'm done for the day. Yeah, so as you guys can see, Patricia here is even taking a break because she understands that the market is too volatile to be taking these trades. You guys can't be wasting time. If you guys want to enter these trades, you got to hop in and out right away. Or use you have to have your TP stop loss set as soon as you enter the trade. Because the thing is, it can hit your TP and then it can swing right back up if you don't pull out in time. So I think fundamentals are still under 100 points because it's not up here yet. If it crosses above here, then it's probably going to go back above 100. I'll refresh this right here. It's still 158 points. So it looks pretty good right now so far. It's still pretty solid. Looking over here at retail sentiment, it's now 71% short. It's back to 71. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else here for me to look at. I don't think there's any news this morning. I'll refresh this. Today's Tuesday. Yeah, no more news right now, unless Powell's still speaking. Yeah, Patricia said 600 pip move on each candle is not a good trading market. I agree, Patricia. And that's something that you guys have to realize too. A lot of people want to keep trading during these crazy market conditions, but then they want to cry when they blow their account. Come on, guys, you guys have to be smart about your trades, right? It's about consistency and managing your risk properly. And managing your risk properly, not by you're setting your stop loss, to manage your risk properly, because, and can you guys hear my MT4? It's like turning on and off right now, right? And the reason for that is because there's a lot of slippage going on in the market. Whenever the MT4 makes noises like that, it turns off and on really quickly. It's probably a bad time to trade, because what will happen is you guys will enter a trade and then your MT4 will go into slippage where it'll turn off for a second. And when it turns off for a second, it's going to miss your TP or your stop loss, and then you'll be stuck in the trade. So if you guys have been with K2 for a while, you guys have seen this happen before in the past when the market's too volatile and your MT4 doesn't execute your trades properly. It'll execute your trade and then it'll pass your TP and it won't trigger it. And then your trade will still be running and you're freaking out like, what's going on with my MT4? And the problem with that is because the market's too volatile and it's not able to execute your trades fast enough. So that's like an even bigger red flag. Because if you guys remember before, I actually lost my FTMO in time when that happened. Thankfully, my MT4, because it documents whenever it shuts off like that, it'll document it. And then what I did was I reached out to FTMO. I was like, what the heck, dude? Like I tried to pull out of position and it didn't work. And then they had me send over the logs, and the logs showed that there was issues with MT4. So there's definitely a time you guys want to be careful, because if you guys get burnt and you guys lose your funded account, it's going to be the worst feelings, and you're going to be set back a month or two because you got to get another funded account. So I would be careful if you guys decide to trade today. Rick said I chased that sell exactly like Shawn said not to do. Went 2K down drawdown, but luckily made 375. No, exactly, Rick. That's exactly what happens when you chase the trade like that. You just got to keep your emotions out of it, right? The thing is, you guys get like, not just you, Rick, but like everybody gets excited. They see price drop and they're like, oh, I want to hop into that sell because they get FOMO. And then as soon as they enter that sell, price pulls back super heavy. Sometimes it comes back down, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. So you guys just want to be careful with, entering these trades. Jennifer said, what's worse than losing a funded account, losing your own account? No, exactly, Jennifer. That's way worse because, you can't just go in and recap it. That's the one thing that I like about FTMO too. You're capped at your losses, right? Like for example, if you're trading FTMO and you're funded already, you've already been refunded your challenge fee. So if you lose a funded account, you're not necessarily losing any more money. You're losing your funded account, but you're not necessarily losing any more profit because you already made back your profit and then some. But yeah, if you're on your personal account, you can't get that money back. You're pretty much screwed. And that's another reason why I do like FTMO over trading my personal. I mean, eventually I'll probably have personal. I'll trade a smaller account, like really low risk. But currently, right now, I mean, FTMO is it's a blessing. It gives you pretty much all the upside once you get funded. Right, let me scroll up real quick, see if I missed anything here. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we'll try to look for trades here, but the market is kind of now ranging at this point. Let me go check the fundamentals real quick, refresh this. Currently 156 points in the red. Looking at retail sentiment, currently 72% short. So they cancel each other out, right? Retail sentiment short, but fundamentals are short. So they're both short right now, meaning it's going to be kind of difficult to take shorts here because what could happen is price might just swing all the way back up. Key price that you guys want to look for is if price reaches this green line here, like I mentioned earlier. Let me go over here to this chart. So do you guys remember my markup from yesterday, right? If you guys remember my markup from yesterday, this is from yesterday morning. I didn't touch anything. So as you guys can see, it played out exactly how we anticipated, right? Price came down, came back, retested the opening price, and then it did one or two things. It would have broke above it or it broke below, and that's exactly what happened. It played out exactly how I marked it up. Like I didn't touch any of these drawings. It's crazy how accurate it was. It came down, came up, retested, and it came right back down. And then right here was the mid-market reversal. Remember? If you guys remember, I mentioned that the market always reverses. Not always, but most of the time reverses from 10 to 12. And that's exactly what happened here. And that's pretty much how I locked in my profits yesterday, right? So if you look at my profits from yesterday, I have all wins, right? I made 2,688 yesterday. And then my copier, I made 2,688 as well. Oh, this is my main account. This is my main, and this is my copier. So I made well over 5,000 yesterday because I was patient. I was waiting for price to make its move. And when it made its move here, I capitalized on it. So key thing to pay attention to, guys. I'll mark it up again right here so that you guys can follow it as well. I mean, same thing could happen again today. There's no telling what can or can't happen. So 6 to 8 right here. 8 to 9. This is usually why I stop trading around 8 because that's when the direction starts to change. So we're marking up these time periods right here to have an idea as to where price is going to be going. So price market opened at this point, price is currently super far down. So we still have about like an hour left. So what could happen at this point is price can still come back up and retest this here. So that's something to keep in mind. That's why I'm not really inclined to take any sells right now, because this can easily just shift all the way back up, or it can just continue to drop further. Who knows, right? It doesn't necessarily need to keep going that direction. So it can either continue dropping or it can swing back to the upside. So I'll leave that marked up there. But other than that, let me see if there's anything else here for us to look at. As you guys can see, the highs are starting to, or the highs and lows are starting to get tighter. So as you guys can see, price is now breaking into a range. So I mean, the range would probably be up here, but still, obviously you can see price is now just ranging. It'll probably range for a bit. Once it breaks out of this range, it's probably going to set its direction. So this is going to be really key here, guys. You can see price is currently in a range. This is my guess. So something to look out for is if price ends up going above here and closes, then we might be in for a correction back to the upside. So if that happens, price breaks above there, closes, comes back down, retest, and then continues all the way back up, right? So that's something to keep in mind. So a couple different scenarios to look at here. This is kind of what I see happening. We're probably going to see it swing back up, because the thing is, US 30, there's going to be people who are waiting to buy the dip, right? And what I'm looking for here is for this to increase. As this number here, and it just dropped again. I was hoping it was going to continue to increase because it was at 70%, then it went to 71, then 72. I was hoping it would go up to like 75. If it went up to 75 and they had enough shorts, locked into the market, then they can easily just spike price all the way back up, which is what I was anticipating. But right now, the bias isn't very strong. Once this gets stronger, then you can probably kind of predict what's going to happen next, because the market usually does the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So if I see everyone short, I'm looking for scenarios for a buy. If people are long, I'm looking for scenarios for a sell. However, right now, there just isn't very much of a direction set because we're in this range. So we'll keep following. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat and I can answer them for you. I just don't see anything good right now. Nothing on the 3-minute. There's also a 10-minute entry right here. So I'll mark this up for you guys, or this is a snipe actually. There's actually 2 entries that are currently running for a sell right now. We have a snipe running right now, which would be this rejection right here. So this is I didn't hit yet. Okay, so this is technically a snipe entry. So if you guys still want to enter it, I mean, it's still, oh no, it already hit CP actually, it's too late. Yeah, so I missed this entry here, but this was a snipe entry. I'm not going to count this because it's too late. But yeah, right here, looking at this, I'll zoom in a little bit. You just want to confirm a wick rejection off the pivot, wick rejection off the structure. You want to make sure that the wick rejection off the pivot isn't touching the body. So it's rejecting off this blue pivot. It's not touching the body because it's down here. Last, you want to confirm direction of momentum. Right here, we have a sell signal. You would enter this for a sell and reach for 500 pips. Right here, it hit 500 pips immediately. So with that said, for this 10-minute snipe, this would have hit full TP. Looking over here at the daily, this is technically the daily right here as well, which is currently running right now. Not sure if anyone's in this position. If you're in this position, you should have moved your stop loss in profit already. And you probably would have gotten kicked out of the trade. But if you guys are still having it running, it's still currently active. Right there. So, all right, I think that's it for right now. Let me go back to the 1 minute and see if there's anything here. I mean, this market is just too nice. It's too choppy right now. It's not, there's like no direction that's really set. Like this could have been a fake out. So you can see right here, see the markup that I drew earlier? Look how far it's pushed up since I drew it. I literally drew this like 5 minutes ago. And when I drew this markup right here, price is already up 500 pips. So, it's about patience, guys. It's just waiting for the proper direction. Right now, currently, this looks like it's faking people out. It's trying to trap sellers before it swings all the way back up. And it's just, it's just a game of understanding how the market's moving and not getting caught in these traps. Because the last thing you want to do is get caught in a trap on Trap Tuesday. Everyone knows today's Trap Tuesday, meaning there's a lot of traps that we set up in the market. Last thing you want to do is chase this sell when we're clearly looking for a buy, and it ends up just going all the way back up, because it looks like that's exactly what's happening here, right? So I drew this here a few minutes ago before this even happened, and as you can see, price is coming all the way back up. Let's see, it's about 1,000 pip move. And I wouldn't be surprised if it came all the way back up. Once price reaches this point right here, price will do one of two things. It'll either continue up higher or it'll come right back down. That's where I'll make my move. I'll determine how it reacts when it gets back to the opening price over here. My guess is that it's going to break above here and it's going to keep pushing up higher, and then probably even break all-time high by the end of the week. So there's a lot of things that can happen in the market from now until Friday. Because the thing is, tomorrow is another news day, right? Yeah, tomorrow we have CPI, core CPI, unemployment claims, crude oil inventories, final wholesale inventories, natural gas storage, 30-year bond auction, federal budget balance. There's a lot of stuff here. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of stuff to look out for in the market. So you guys want to be a little careful when taking these trades, or anticipating to take these trades here, because there's a lot of stuff that can happen during this week. So going back to the charts over here, price currently broke above. So this would technically be a high-low entry. But like I mentioned, guys, I'm not taking any trades right now because of how the market's moving. Currently, it's just too risky to be taking any trades because there's no clear direction. I also wouldn't be going against the fundamentals. So guys, whenever you guys find an entry, like for example, right here for this high-low scalp, you guys got to use your confluences, right? Just like I was mentioning before, your confluences here, your fundamentals are pointing toward the sell. So I'm probably not looking for a buy yet. Retail sentiment is still short, so these cancel each other out. You only have one confluence with regard to, you actually don't even have any confluences, because the buys for the technicals here are for a sell, right? Price is below the pivots, trend meters red. Price below pivots, trend meters red. Price below pivots, trend meters red, right? So the technicals here actually give you a negative confluence, because you would have a confluence here with an entry. However, everything is pointing towards a sell. So you literally would have zero confluences, and that's why I wouldn't take this trade here. This might take some time for you guys to understand, like the confluences and stuff. I know a lot of you guys do understand this. That's why you guys are really successful at K2 and just trading in general, because you guys understand what I'm talking about. You basically want to have at least 2 to 4 confluences pointing that direction. If you have those many confluences, then you're good. And those are confluences including the subtractions. So you have to balance the positive and negative confluences with regard to your entry. There's another entry here for a sell. Yeah, that moved so quick. I couldn't even catch it. I was looking at it and I didn't even catch it. Hit full TP already. We're not going to count that trade, obviously, because it moved too fast. And I didn't take the trade myself. So unfortunately, man, this market is way too volatile. You can see that this candle literally closed. It's only been open for like a few seconds and it dropped all the way down. So new high been established right here. Actually, to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. New high right here. And this will be the new low right here. And this market is like way too crazy right now. So if you guys do continue to want to trade, like I mentioned earlier, guys, I recommend you guys use a smaller lot size, trade your demo, or always move your stop loss in profit. Technically right here, this is another entry. I just realized, because this low right here was broken by this candle. You can see how the candle broke below. So this would technically be an entry off the high low. Man, I'm like so off point today. There's so many trades that just came like right before me and I just missed all of them. So technically, again, right there, and you guys can see the market is just moving too fast. Unless you're like paying attention to every single move, you can catch these, but I'm missing all these myself. I missed the 1-minute scalp right there because I was explaining this thing right here. And then I missed this right here because I was explaining this right here. So I missed 2 trades back to back. These both would have hit full TP. Right there, that 1-minute pivot scalp, we had a valid signal below the pivot, so that had been an entry for that. And then again, right here, this would have been a high-low scalp because this was the low. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 candles, broken close below there, and another entry at that point. So unfortunately, I'm missing these trades, but it's okay. I'd rather miss them and see that they hit rather than me taking a risky trade and losing. So I move this below here. And here we go. We're now in a new range. So let me scroll down a little bit. Let me see if I missed anything here. So if you guys asked a question earlier and I didn't get to it, I'm currently scrolling down from the top from 640. So I'm going back about 40 minutes in the chat to see if I missed anything. And I'll slowly be pushing a little higher. Oh, thanks. So Lisa said Powell was just introducing a diversity meeting today, so I don't think his speech was high impact. No, that's good to know because I had no idea what he was talking about. Paul said finally waited on NASDAQ to confirm, took a sell, made another $1,000. Nice work, Paul. Duggan said I'm having the worst week. Stuck in shorts on Aussie and Euro against the USD. Oh yeah, because the market's great because the Fed's speaking this week, Duggan. So like you're gonna see a lot of crazy movements with USD pairs with regard to Forex. Scrolling down lower, Jennifer said these wicks are making me uncomfortable. No, I agree. Same here. Scroll down a little more. Let's see. Scrolling down a little more. I'm at like 710 right now at the time, so I'm. It's like your message right there, Rick. Jennifer said, "Do you check price action on higher time frames?" I don't check price action at all, Jennifer. I mean, you know, the problem with a lot of traders is some traders do way too much. Like for me, I literally just do what I do every day and it works perfectly fine, right? There's no need for me to go on the higher time frames. If you don't see me checking the higher time frames here during the live, I don't do it because this is what I do for all my trades. You know, the problem is a lot of people like to overanalyze trades. For me, I don't really overanalyze. It's very simple, right? I look at my confluences, I look at the trend, I look at the strategy. That's pretty much it. Fundamentals, retail sentiment, technical analysis, like the big three right there. And it works perfectly fine. The problem is a lot of people overanalyze things. You know, it's what we call analysis paralysis. You just look at too many things and then you end up not taking a trade, even though it's a good trade. So for me personally, I don't do that. I mean, I used to do that when I was first started trading, but you know, the one thing that I started to realize as I grew as a trader was that simpler is better, as long as that simple is good. So it can't be like random simple stuff to look at. If you're looking at key things in the market, like for me, I look at fundamentals, I look at retail sentiment, then I look at technicals. Those are the three main things I look at within those timeframes that I'm trading. I don't go on the 1 hour, 4 hour, or whatever, because the thing is that it doesn't matter, right? Like if you go on the 4 hour here, so if you look at US 30 on the 4 hour or even the 1 hour, the higher time frames, right? Like you mentioned, it doesn't matter what's happening here. I mean, whatever is happening here on the 4 hour isn't really going to affect what you're doing on the 1 minute, because you know how many minutes are in 4 hours? It's a lot of minutes. So a lot of stuff can happen within the 1 minute before it even does what you're looking at on the 4 hour or even on the 1 hour. You know, this is still 61 minute candles. We're not even on the session for like that long. So like say for example, if you're here on the 1 minute and you're looking at price action on the 1 hour, you're literally looking ahead like this far. And the thing is, yeah, price can probably go up at that point. Price can probably go up like in an hour, but it's probably going to keep moving around here before it gets to that point, right? So that's why I don't necessarily look on the higher time frames. I mean, you can, don't get me wrong, it can help, but it can also do harm, because if you do too much analysis, then you're just not going to take any trades. Because the thing is right here, if you look at the 1 hour and you're like, oh, this is bearish, but then price here starts to shift back up on the 1 minute, you're not going to look for any buys, right? Even though price can easily be going to the upside. So that's why I don't. And you know, if you're looking on the higher time frames, it's kind of considered like looking at something that's laggy, because if you're trading on the 1 minute, you want to see what's going on within this time right here, within this area. If you're looking at the 1 hour, you're kind of looking at what's going to happen over here, you know, an hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, etc. So, I mean, if it works for your analysis, go ahead and do it. But I personally don't do it myself. So I just want to get that across to you guys, because a lot of people, I see a lot of people do that. And it does work from time to time. But if you're trading on the 1 minute, probably not as important. If you're trading like on the 10-minute, then yeah, that'll probably make sense. But 1 minute, 3 minute, probably not so much. All right. All right, Charlie, see you tomorrow. So Charlie's gone for the day. Jennifer said that's exactly what's going to happen. Arain said, would that invalidate the 10-minute daily if price is expected to come to the upside? Sort of, Arain. That's why I'm not taking the trade here. That's why I marked this up here for you guys on the 10-minute, but I'm not taking it myself because I still think price is going to come back up eventually. I don't think it's going to come up like right now, but it's probably going to come up eventually. What could happen is price can still come down slightly, or like this is what could happen. Price could actually go sideways, and then, or it might not even move. So what might happen is price might. So you can see right here, this took how long? It took 12 hours, right? So if this trade was to run for 12 hours, it's a long time for it to move in that direction. There's actually trades that run for like over 24 hours. So one thing to keep in mind is that these daily entries could go on for like forever. Like this one right here. I forgot which one was it, but there was one that was going on for like a whole day. And then during the summer when volatility is really low, these trades go on for like a whole week sometimes because there's not very much volatility. But you'll see sometimes where price is just ranging, like something like this right here. If you take a buy and you're literally holding on to this for like a really long time, like see if you were to take this trade here, you would have held on to this for like 15 hours. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that it would invalidate it, but that'd be a reason why I wouldn't take it myself personally. And that's the reason why I always recommend that you guys use the exit strategy. So in this situation right here, when price reach TP or whatever, whenever it reaches the TP, move your stop loss and profit so that you don't get caught in the trade forever. However, some people like taking bigger risk and they just let the trade run for an extended period. So I wouldn't necessarily say it invalidates it. It's still a valid entry because this strategy here is very simple. It's, you just look for the first valid signal after open. So it's still valid. It's a risky trade. So that's why I wouldn't take it, but it doesn't invalidate it. It's still technically a good trade if you wanted to trade in that direction. Because the thing, like I mentioned earlier, guys, for this right here, I don't expect it to go up. It's like not guaranteed. That's why I have two different scenarios here. Price can do one of two things. Price will either continue dropping or it'll go back up and test this opening price. However, it doesn't need to do that. What could happen here is, so if this doesn't come up and test this and we just take this off and this is done with and we're not looking for that anymore, what else can happen here is price can continue pushing down, hit the TP, and then once it reaches the or this is usually what happens. Price will come down, it'll consolidate, drop slightly, consolidate, and then when it reaches like mid-market reversal around here, that's when it'll reverse back to the upside. So it doesn't have to reverse right now. It can come back at any time. Kind of what happened yesterday, right? So if you look at the price yesterday, see how price came down? That's the same exact pattern. Price came down, and then at 10, it did the mid-market reversal, where it came all the way back up. It didn't go all the way up, but obviously it came up pretty far. Like for example, if you measure this, it came up well over 1,000 pips. So there's different scenarios that can play out. That's kind of how you analyze the market. Like you always want to make sure that you have two different scenarios. So one scenario, your position. The other scenario is worst case scenario, this happens and you pull out of your position because price is reversing. So yeah, I mean, this market today is just kind of trash. It's going back and forth, not really much direction. Going back to this 1 minute over here, you can see the range that I drew earlier. So I drew this range probably like 10, 12 minutes ago, and it still hasn't really done much. It's kind of just bouncing around the area still. So yeah, as you guys can see, it's not really doing too much right now. The range is tighter though, so we'll see what happens as price continues to move sideways. Other than that, I think that's it for right now. Let me see if there's any other questions here. Let me scroll down. Jagain's asking, can you explain the high-low stage rate strategy? Rav helped or did? So this strategy, I'm not covering it yet. If you want to take the strategy, you can look at this here. It's still like a work in progress, so it's not necessarily done. But I guess I can go over the basics for you, but the strategy is not done yet. It's still unfinished and in progress. So if you guys want to apply this, you guys can. The main thing that we're looking for right now still with the strategy is just the TP stop loss. These requirements are probably going to be the official requirements. But I mean, we don't know yet, right? If there's different things that we figure out along the way, then we'll make changes. But we've been applying this and there hasn't been any issues. So for this right here, basically the first thing you want to do is identify the swing highs and the swing lows, right? This is a swing high, this is a swing low. And that's why we have this indicator here, because these little pop-ups that come up right here, these are going to be the highs and then these are going to be the lows. So what you want to do is you want to confirm the previous swing high, swing low, and you want to establish it. In order to establish it, you need to make sure that 405 candles pass after it without touching. So let me see if I'll just clean this, or I was going to clean it up, but the problem with this is that it's going to mess up the markup here. Anyways, looking at this right here, this would be the previous swing high, right? The reason for that is because price swung high and then it came back down. So this would be the swing high. You want to make sure that 405 candles pass after it before it can be established. So for example, here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This fifth candle right here touched it, right? So it's no longer the high. This is now going to be the new high. So that's going to be the new high. This is no longer the high once it touches it, because it invalidates it as a high. Because if it touches it, that's no longer the high, right? The next candle becomes the high. So, and price continues to break it right here again. So as price continues to push up higher, it becomes a newer high. So you want to make sure that it's established before you take any trade. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to move this back here, because this high right here still hasn't been invalidated. You can see price came around this area, but it never broke it or touched it. This candle right here was the high, but it touched it, so it invalidated it. Same with this one right here. It invalidated it, and this one's still pending. So this would be the high, and this would be the low right here. The reason why this is the low is because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. If another candle closes right here and doesn't touch it, this is going to be established as a low. So first thing I do is confirm the previous swing highs and swing lows. Once you have that, you want to confirm price breaks and closes past the previous swing. So for example, here, if this candle right here pushes and closes above this line, then it's going to confirm a price break and close past the previous swing, which would be this area right here. Once you have that, you want to confirm the direction of momentum. So you want to make sure that there's a buy signal here. Right here, we have a buy signal, right? There's no sell signal after it. So our bias right now is currently for a buy if you're applying the strategy, because momentum is only pointing towards the upside. If we get a sell signal, then the bias changes. It's now going to be a sell with regard to the strategy, not the overall trend or not the overall bias, but just for this specific time frame with regard to the strategy. So once you have that figured out, you want to confirm price is not ranging or consolidating. So obviously right here, price is in a range, right? Price is just going sideways. However, this is the top of the range. So if price breaks and closes past it, it's no longer in a range. So that's going to qualify for requirement number 4. The last requirement 5 is you want to confirm price hasn't touched the previous swing before break and close. So for example, if price pushes above here and touches it and doesn't break and close past it, then it's going to invalidate it. However, if price breaks and closes past it right there and it doesn't come back down, then it's going to qualify as requirement number 5. After that, you can enter the trade. So I'm not sure if that made any sense to you, but this is something that you kind of have to apply and understand. It's not really that difficult. I think it sounds a bit difficult, but it's really not difficult at all. Once you actually apply it, it's actually really simple. I would show you an example of what we're currently trading right now, so I can't really pull off the chart. I'm still looking for this to close above here. If it closes above here, I'll probably take it. However, if not, maybe I can pull up an example for you. I'll just pull back something that happened earlier today or recently, or I don't know, something that happened at some point so that you can see it in action. Other than that, let me just go down to the other questions. So I'll come back to your questions, Jagain, if we have some time. Well, we'll have time at the end. I'll show you an example, but currently right now, I just want to wait for this to pass because I already missed 2 trades here. I don't want to miss another one. All right, looking over at the fundamentals over here, refresh this. Currently 125 points in the red, still red. Looking at retail sentiment, currently 70% short. So everything is still kind of going sideways. Talanji said, man, patience is so important. Might miss a couple of scalps being patient, but they will never stop coming. But 9 out of 10 rushing can mess you up. Such a simple but tough lesson. No, exactly, Talanji. And that's what I was mentioning before, guys. Like, you don't have to take every single trade, and you don't have to trade all day. Like for me, for example, here, I missed these 2 trades, but it's fine. It's cool because I'm waiting for the next one. There's always going to be a next entry. So there's no need to force a trade if you missed it, or if you just get phone when you want to hop in. You guys just need to control yourself and wait for the next entry, because the next entry is coming. It's just a matter of time. You just got to wait for it. Scroll down a little bit over here. Yeah, no, Rick needs to chill off that. No, 100%. And yeah, no problem, G-Game. It's just kind of difficult for me to explain right now because the market's currently moving. So it's like going back and forth. So looking at this right here, guys, if this closes above here, this would technically be an entry using the high-low scalp. However, it's going to be a bit risky because the fundamentals are still bearish. So yeah, I'm probably not going to take it, but I'll follow it. I'll mark it up just to show you guys. So this is going to be an example right here, G-Game, the one that you were asking for the high-low scalp. So, looking at this right here, we have the high that's been established. We're just waiting for this to break and close past it. It's broken past it, but it hasn't closed. So this might be an example of not an entry. Okay, so no entry here. So here's an example of the last requirement failing, G-Game. So looking at this right here, you can see that we had the high established, right? So we confirmed the previous high, which is right there. Price never broke and closed past it. We wanted to confirm that price break and close past the swing. It didn't break and close past it, so that invalidated the second requirement. The third requirement, you want it to be trading the direction momentum. We had a buy signal here, so we'd be trading the direction. That's going to qualify for requirement number 3. For number 4, you want to confirm price is not ranging or consolidating. Price actually broke out of the range right here, so this technically would have qualified as requirement number 4. The last requirement was failed. So requirement 2 and 5 failed because it didn't break and close past it. And same with the requirement 5 here. Price, you have to make sure that price has not touched the previous swing. Right here, price touched it, right? So, and it didn't break and close past it. So with that said, there's no entry here. But you wouldn't have gone through that far of an analysis because the second requirement wasn't even met. You have to go through these in order. So first you confirm the swing. Second, you confirm a price break and close. Right here, it broke it, but it didn't close. So it would have invalidated the trade. And good thing that we didn't enter it, because if you did, you see how this price just came right back down. So, all right, let me show you an example of one that actually was a valid entry. So see if I can find one over here. Okay, so there's one right over here. This is perfect. All right, so, okay, let's move this up a little bit. All right, so here's your example, G-Game. So looking at this right here, basically, you want to confirm the previous swing low, right? Swing low and swing high. So the previous swing low, swing high would be right here, swing high. And this would be the swing low. So in order to establish this, you need to count 4 or 5 candles, right? So a low is established here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 candles have passed right here. So this is officially the low, right? Next requirement, you want to confirm price breaks and closes past the previous swing. So right here we have swing low. And then right here we have price breaking and closing past it, right? So that's requirement 1 and 2. Requirement 3, you want to confirm you're trading in the direction of momentum using the K² momentum indicator. So looking back, the most recent signal was a sell signal, right? So momentum is coming down. We're trading that direction. So that's requirement number 3. Next, you want to confirm price is not ranging or consolidating. So price was it was ranging a bit right here, but price broke past it. So it's no longer ranging or consolidating. Lastly, you want to confirm that price has not touched the previous swing before break and close. So looking at these previous candles between the swing and now, it's never touched it, right? So with that said, this would be a valid entry. After that, you would enter a short position right here. You go for about 10 pips, you let it run, and there you go, full TP. So there's an example of this strategy right here. That's an example of it actually being applied and playing through. So hopefully that helps with your understanding. Obviously, it's it's still a work in progress, but you guys can see it's pretty simple if you know what to look for. Other time for me. Any other questions? If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and then I'll take a look. Otherwise, it looks like we'll be wrapping up the session shortly. So, Main said, was that not a 3-minute scalp? So now let me go to the 3-minute real quick, see what you guys are talking about. So this right here would be a 3-minute scalp, but if you guys the whole reason why I'm not taking any sells right now, because I'm anticipating it to swing back up. So technically, yes, that would be a 3-minute scalp, but I wouldn't have taken it because here, let's just check out the fundamentals real quick. Refresh this. Fundamentals are short, but another thing that you need to look at is retail sentiment is also short. So you usually this is going to be a key factor for us here. You usually don't want to trade in the direction of retail. So if everyone's short, price is probably going to come to the upside. So technically, yes, this would be a 3-minute sell. But like I was mentioning, guys, I'm not looking for any sells right now. I haven't been taking any sells this entire day because I'm looking for it to swing back up. Going back to my markup over here, you can see that price it's kind of just going back and forth. It's coming back above here. It came back down, but then now it's still pushing up higher. So I'm still waiting for it to come back up and retest this area up here before it, either continues pushing up higher or comes right back down. But obviously you guys can see here that it's I don't know, this market is just, the market's just bestie today. Super bestie. Kind of glad I didn't take any trades on my own because I would have been stressed out right now if I was taking some sells. Going over to some snipes. So like I mentioned before, the daily's still running, but I wouldn't have taken it because it's a sell. And then same with this over here. I don't know if there's another snipe right here. Let me see if there's another zone around this area. I don't see anything on my end. Technically, yeah, no, actually you're right. There would probably be another snipe below here, but not one that I would take, obviously. Yeah, the market here is just too choppy, guys. There's too much back and forth movement. The confluences don't line up. It's just not a good market to be trading in right now. So that's kind of why I'm just sitting out. Jennifer said only trade 4.5 hours a day for TTS qualification. What's that, Jennifer? Sorry, I'm gonna Google it. TTS qualification. Oh, gotcha. Okay, traders tax status. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's a long time. I mean, technically, we do trade that long every day, but oh yeah, I'm looking right now how to qualify. It's subjective. I mean, you could argue this. Having a lawyer background, that's easy to argue. It's subjective. There's no statutory law. Meaning, I could say I'm trading for 4 hours, but who knows if I'm trading for 4 hours, right? So, I mean, yeah, obviously you're gonna have to prove it at some point if that becomes the case. Yeah, I've that's interesting. I never really thought about this. Made total of 70. Bright line test. Yeah, no, this is kind of cool. Yeah, I'll take a look at it later, Jennifer. Thanks for bringing it up. I think it's interesting that they have that. The problem with FTMO though is that we're not getting paid through I mean, if you're trading a personal account, yeah, it would probably fit. But for FTMO, you get paid as a contractor, so you get paid 1099, which the tax benefits for that are a lot better versus doing your personal trading. We have to pay capital gains on it. So And that's for another day. So that's a deep topic to get into. A lot of people always ask me about that. That's another reason why I like trading FTMO, because they pay you as a contractor. So tax benefits are better if you're running it through a business like I do. Patricia said, have a good one, everyone. Too choppy, I'm out. Thank you. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm probably gonna be out too. So I think that's it for the questions, guys. Unless you guys have any other questions, drop your questions in the chat right now. Otherwise, the market is just too choppy right now. It's not a good time to trade. I personally don't want to trade, so I'm probably just gonna sit it out. But if you guys do have questions, always feel free to reach out. Otherwise, if you guys want to reach out after I'm done with the session, you guys can always email me or message me on Telegram. Looking over here, I have about I have a lot of emails. Got about 130 emails to get through just for today. I still have about 700 from the weekend that I haven't gone through. So I got a lot of emails to get through today, guys. I'm just gonna be grinding it out. So if you guys do have questions, feel free to reach out. And if I don't get to your email right away, guys, just give it a day, because I have so many emails to get through. There's only like one of me, and there's like 100 of you, or not even 100, it's like 500 of you guys that have all like very similar questions. So other than that, guys, I think that's it. So if you guys do have questions, feel free to reach out. If you guys do ask a question, give me at least 24 hours to 2 days to respond, but I will get to your question. I get to everyone's questions. So yeah, other than that, guys, have a great rest of your day. And if you guys do decide to trade, I do recommend using a smaller lot size, or if you don't want to risk your money, just trade on a demo if you want to play, because the market is still going to be choppy. I think we do have some Fed news coming up shortly. We have Fed member daily speaking at 8:30. So in about an hour, Fed member daily is going to be speaking. And then at 10 o'clock, we have a 10-year bond auction. So we have some news coming up, which is going to cause volatility in the market. So you guys want to be a little careful. But just the market in general right now, it's just not a good market to trade in. So you probably want to be extra careful if you continue to trade. So if you guys do have questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will catch you guys on the next live session tomorrow. Hopefully we have a smoother day. We do have some news coming up. We have CPI, core CPI, unemployment, crude oil inventories, and the 30-year bond auction. So we do have a lot of news tomorrow, but that could be a benefit for us because it'll push market in one direction rather than a choppy market like we have today this morning. So yeah, if you guys don't need to trade, don't trade. I'm probably not going to trade. So I'm just going to sit out the market and watch. So other